Hey gamers, today we're looking at Isaribi. Let's check it out. Setup for the game is pretty simple. Each player is going to have a little player board here. They're going to have their cubes starting in these two areas here. First player is going to have this wooden fish. You're going to put your ship upgrades over here. Every player has their marker here on the score marker here. Also cash money. They start with 3 coins each. Their ship starts at the harbor. They're going to shuffle each one of these little seafood decks and deal out 1 each into each space. Unless they get one of these 1 draw cards, then they'll deal an additional card out. So as you see, I drew I could draw another card, so I did. And then for this one it says draw another card, so I did. So in this case, I had 6 cards. At the very minimum, you'll have 4, 1 of each. But sometimes you could have 5 or 6, depending on what kind of cards you drew. You're going to have your leave the round cards over here. You're going to have your extra fish tokens and everything over here. You're going to shuffle through your market deck. You have your round tracker here, and you're going to deal out as many cards as whatever round it is. So in the first round, you deal out 5 cards. Second and third, 6, and then the fourth and fifth, you'll fill all of those market areas with a card in all 7 spaces. Also, each player is going to get one of these action cards. And beginning with the first player, what they're going to do is flip over one of these markets, and they're going to flip over one each round. So as it starts with first player again, they'll flip over another card for the next round. And then for the third round, they'll keep doing this until all the cards are flipped over. Now, when they do that, they can still do moves. A round ends when everyone decides to leave the round. Now, you get 1.5 actions to work on. How does that work? Well, there are little things here you can do for half actions, and then some of them for actions. And this card really tells you what you can do. So for instance, to move would cost an action. So if I had 1.5 actions, I could move. Another half action would be to fish by hand. When you fish by hand, you only get 1 fish. When you cast your net, which is this bottom action here, beginning, you can get 2 fish each round. Unless it's a red fish, you'd only get 1 of those. But and you cannot fish by hand when it comes to the redfish. You must cast your net on redfish each time. But that's what fishing is, and that's what movement does. You can also sell your fish in the market. Once you get back to a harbor space, then you may sell your fish. This is, hey, I'll take any type of seafood and I'll pay you 3 coin. Or for each shrimp you give me over here, I'll give you 3 coin. Or for each oyster you give me, I'll give you 2 coins, so on and so forth. Different seafood gather different prices in the market every round. But for an action, you can sell 2 of your seafood to 1 or 2 different vendors. So let's say I had an oyster and a shrimp. I could do for 1 full action, I could pay the oyster to him, or maybe no, I pay it to him because he gets more money, and then him. Or for a full or I could do for 1 whole action just that shrimp there, and then for a half action sell 1 thing to 1 vendor. That's another half action. For an action point, you can gain technology. And by gaining technology, you can upgrade your player board. Either maybe to take more actions. You have to pay these coin to get those more actions. And by the way, once you paid it, that would be your 1 action for the turn. You could not all of a sudden take 2. On your next turn, when it comes back around to you, you'd have 2 actions per round until you kept upgrading. Same thing with the net. You can upgrade your net and have bigger catches of fish when you cast your net, as long as the fish are available. Of course, there are no fish available on the card. You will not catch that many fish. Also available are these 2 type upgrades. There's 1 for each player in the game, so you can't have more than 1 of each one. This one allows you to exchange 1 seafood per round. So that means until everyone leaves the round, you can't use this again until the next round. So a maximum would be 5 turns if you get this early. And you can exchange any type of good for 4 coin. This one lets you keep 3 extra seafood tokens in your area, because at the end of the round, all your seafood gets dumped out except for 1. And that's what's left in the bag. So it doesn't behoove you to catch all these fish and hoard it to the next round, because you'll lose them all. The fish will spoil, all except for 1 you can preserve, maybe for the next round. Now, you're moving around. Everyone's taking action. An action can also be to pass. You know what? I don't want to take any more actions. I just want to pass and see what's going on. Passing doesn't make you leave the round, meaning you can just hang out in the harbor as other people are flipping over these cards, or first player is, because for an action point, you can also flip over some of these cards. If you're like in the harbor, you have a lot of fish, you want to sell them now, pay those action points to flip over those cards. You don't have to wait for the first player. And so then you can start selling too if you need it. But anyway, you can just pass to see what else is going to happen. But when a player says if they don't take any actions, then they leave the round, they can pick from one of these bonuses here. And there's enough for each player here if you're playing with 5 players. If you're not, then you'll just grab as many as there are players in the game, and the other 2 will just not be picked for that round. But these can do different things. This one says, hey, look at 3 market cards in the market area. That means on the next round, when all these cards are face down, I can look at 3 of them, basically preparing what I need to fish for in the next round if it's available. This one says, hey, after the initial phase, place 3 more seafood tokens in any fishing spot of your choice. So if you look around, you say, man, I really need there to be, more redfish or more of this or more of that this round. Well, this guy will put more fish into the area, which can let you sell in the market, because there could be times where you don't have enough fish to sell at the market. This one says, immediately get 1 technology with a $3 discount. So that means I could get that for free or that one for 1. Or maybe I can get one of these upgrades for free or with a discount. What this one does here is I can keep 2 extra seafood in my boat. So that means I could keep a total of 3, only for that round though, as long as I had that card. And this one obviously gives you 3 Ryo, which is of course money in the game. Money is also victory points too, so as you're spending this money, you're also spending your victory points. Now the game ends after round 7, and of course whoever has the most victory points wins. Of course, you're passing this first player around to each player, each round 2, and that's the game. Final thoughts, what do you think about the game? Hey, did I get the title right? I don't care, I don't know. Fun fishing game, fun fishing game. My nephews actually really love this game. I love the artwork, I think it's calming. I think the whole theme of it is really nice too. As you're doing actions and upgrading, you can't be too obsessed by upgrading your nets, your actions, and your boat, or those extra boat actions, because that is victory points you're giving away. And I figured it out first. You don't want to upgrade everything. I'm someone who wants to have everything unlocked, everything upgraded. But the game is ending as you're playing this. So you can't be spending all your profit every round. You've got to retain the lead. You can't do upgrades. Everyone kept doing upgrades. And then there was one round I said, you know what? I don't need to get my net any bigger. I'm not going to pay those extra points for the extra 1 bonus action. I'm not going to buy the extra card to upgrade my boat. I'm not going to do that anymore. And so I started pulling ahead, and they didn't see that to the very end because everyone thought you had to upgrade everything. I love that about this game though. I love that the market and the amount of fish out there does not match up. And that can be frustrating. There won't be any fish left, but there's market areas open. Oh, well, I don't have any fish to fill it out. Or you have all this fish and there's nothing. The market's full right now. They've already been sold their fish. You can't get any more. I also like, and we played this wrong the first time I played it, of course, because I usually play it wrong. But we didn't read on the bottom of the card where you could flip over a market card for an action point. And because that automatically happens on first player. Why would you waste an action point? Because if you're both sitting at the harbor, you don't want to wait for first player to flip it over and then sell, sell their goods right on that card. So you go to the harbor, you pay an action point, then pay another one to flip another one and go, those are the cards that, maybe the last action point can sell something or how many action points you have. So I love that. And we started really taking advantage of that. This game has some great balance to it. It's super cheap on Eagle Griffin Games website right now as of this video, and that's why I had to get it. I absolutely adore this game. It's a small game. It's a quick game. You can play it to 5 players. I don't think it'll take that long at all, as long as everyone knows what they're doing, but so shockingly, this is a great game. All right, folks. That's it for now. Until next time, game on!